Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about what I feel is a big, huge, not big, huge, social disconnect. And I have said things about this over time in various ways, and it has been worsening for years, probably since before I was even born, but especially lately, past I don't know how many years. And it's about people who want to believe, that it's very narcissistic behavior, that they want to believe that they have a right, and they do have a right, you see me doing air quotes, to their opinion on something, but the way they go about it is if they know better than voices of authority on whatever it is. Okay, that's a very narcissistic behavior. And I've said this in various, like I said, in various ways, in various videos, but it's just so prevalent, so very prevalent, that it's become disgusting to see how people have become even more aggressive, not assertive, aggressive with it, and using things such as verbal and emotional abuse to state their opinions, okay? On social media, watching this, I can use social media, and we all know about trolls, haters, bashers. Back in 1990, as early as 1990, in the 1990s, people call them bashers. They didn't call them trolls. The trolls was something more recent term for people who just, they throw out trash. You know, they prove how trashy they are and what they say and how they say it. And it's verbal and emotional abuse. And some of it is actually physically threatening. And, you know, down this line, we all know how that goes. And it's the lowest of the low, okay? Me, as I said in the video, like I said, I've said this thing in various videos. But in one of my videos, I said that I blocked that person, like on YouTube, block their channel from leaving comments on mine and delete the comments that they made. And I believe that's the right way to do, because otherwise other people see it and they think, oh, it's okay to do that. You know, especially young, impressionable minds see it and think, oh, this is how you do. You get behind a screen, you hide, and you can say anything you want to, whether it's verbally abusive, any kind of an abuse. You're free to do it. It's allowed. And one of the interesting things is, now, I've never been one to really dig deep and go in this respect and read people's comments ever since, you know, when I first really got it online, where I could have done something like that, which was 1990. It was a long time ago. But I've never been into it. Like, there were, back then, people had, they called them online journals, and then there's online diaries, and, you know, that people had left comments, and these days people call them blogs, and they've been calling them that for years, but it really was a different format even. But yeah, you know, I wasn't all that into it, but sometimes I would, and the things that people would say, you know, like I said, we called them bashers back then, and there were listservs, all kinds of different kinds of groups. People could, you know, like these days you have Facebook groups, or you have, you know, your Twitter and all this. Your Twitter, like you own it. What I'm saying. And just the comments that people leave to other people. This is not about me, by the way. I seldom get really bad. I really don't get really bad comments. And the few that I do every blue moon, it's just block, delete. It's not like the harsh ones I've seen other people receive, you know, seriously. Like, you know, some of them, this wouldn't be as harsh as some of them I've seen, but it is still harsh. It's, you know, somebody to tell somebody to leave a comment on somebody who's a voice of authority on something, as far as you know, I don't know. But, you know, to say something to that person like, you're an idiot, and they spell it Y-O-U-R space A space I-D-I-O-T. Now, I don't know about you. It's been a long time since I've had English, but that's wrong. It's not Y-O-U-R for one thing. And I believe it's A-N. But yeah, it's been a long time since I had English class. Still, to attack someone personally. And like I've said, I've said these things in various videos, pieces here and there. But yeah, it's just amazing to me how very low it's become, that this kind of attitude can be so common. It's common in a lot of ways. But yeah, just people think, okay, here it is, somebody who, now as far as you know, say it's somebody who, whatever field it's in, whatever field of study, and they're stating that they are this kind of person, but someone who obviously doesn't have that same, whatever is required, has the nerve to do that, The whole thing of verbal and emotional abuse and so on and so forth, you can see various kinds of abuse, okay? That in itself says a lot about the person who does that, okay? And the thing about it is, to excuse it off so easily as troll, I don't know about that. It really does need to be more a person can do as far as, within the system. I'm a person who does things within the system. As far as if you have somebody trolling you on YouTube or Facebook and you report them, and there goes their account, that it's other than a robot that's reading it. We used to call them bots. Now it's AI. Or maybe there is somebody, but do they read the complaints, and go and say, okay, that's abusive, bleep, out of there. Their account's gone. When you call somebody an idiot, do they understand the people, if there is an actual human reading it, do they know that is verbal abuse? Do they know it? Now, where was I? One of the things I think about this is the problem is a lack of trust. Okay, seriously, a lack of trust in whatever voice of authority it is, professional voice of authority, whatever. And this can be anything, and I've said this before, like somebody, a chef. Okay, it could be somebody in that kind of field, or it could be somebody such as a counselor, a doctor, anything, any kind of field, is to trust the person who's actually doing it and has been doing it and did whatever it took to gain whatever it was that they needed to do it, instead of other people just saying, oh, I know better. And for people to start trusting that person, the one that just says, well, I know better, which is very narcissistic, trust the professional. Now, some professionals, I will totally agree, you can go to someone that person is somehow wrong or abusive, you don't stay around, okay? Yeah, I agree. There's some out there. That doesn't make every person who is professional in whatever field that they're bad. But the people who are narcissistic have really normalized this view over years, especially, especially in certain fields. But let's go back to that of being, people who are chefs. I think plural is chefs. Okay. Yeah, one of my sisters is a chef. Okay, she worked long and hard to be a chef. She owned her own restaurant even, did whatever it took to become one. Now, how many people do you think go into a restaurant and they tell her how to cook? A lot, I can tell you. She doesn't know what she's doing, but they know better. She doesn't say that, but hey, she owned a restaurant and I visited there and I worked for a while, and you can see the mentality of people think they know more than the chef. I don't really I think we all have probably seen somebody that we know or had worked with, I know I had, who did that, always sending their food back. It's not done right, yeah, you're special, You can probably see in that there's more to it than just that, of not trusting professionals. Some of the people are narcissistic, and they're never going to trust any professional, and they're going to ensure that the world knows that they're the only ones who know. Okay, that kind. Yeah, there's that kind. And then there are people that listen to them and believe them and spread the word too. And you see, it's become a really big issue these days that everybody knows better than the true voices of authority. And like I was talking about earlier, they believe that the right way to do something about it is to call the person names and to use verbal and verbal abuse, emotional abuse, so on and so forth. Yeah, it's just become disgusting. But anyway, I'm going to do more on this eventually. But I do want to talk more about enemy and normlessness and be a little more Durkheimian in what I talk about. You know, the whole, what seems like these days a lack of collective consciousness, lack of moral standards, codes of behavior, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's a lack of it, big lack of it. Anyway, it's enough for now.